What's up, guys? Ashley here, and I've got some exciting news. You guys probably already know what I'm talking about. We are doing another live. This time it's going to be on TikTok. It's happening Monday, August 26th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, Taryn and I are going live on TikTok on August 26th at 6 p.m. We're going to be doing live advice, so be sure to follow us, and we'll see you there.
Are you guys a fan of the show? If you are, we have a VIP subscription that you can sign up to get much more of your girls here.
Become a premium subscriber and get access to exclusive episodes, ad-free listening, discounts on merch, and so much more. Plus, it's only $5 a month, which is way cheaper than your everyday latte.
To sign up, just go ahead and go to the show notes and you can click the link.
Ash,
Karen.
why do you want to be me?
Stop. Guys, if you listened to the episode last week, you already know what's happening right now. We both showed up in like heathered gray graphic tees, like the same colored gray. It's really bizarre.
Where'd you get yours?
This is from, it just says Spice.
Because
it's a Spice Girls t-shirt. Shoot. It's not Princess Polly, but it's
Pretty Little Thing.
not Pretty Little Thing, but it's,
I don't know another one. Those two are the only ones that tie in my mind together.
I guess it doesn't really tie. I want to say it starts with a Z. Or it
Zara.
starts with a V.
Victoria's Secret.
It's not Victoria's Secret. It's not Vici.
It's Vanderpump.
You know what? It's probably going to hit me halfway through the episodes. Let's just see if that actually happens.
Okay. Yeah, we're twinning today.
We are
I
twinning
have
today.
Blink one. If you're like, guys, we're listening. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm wearing a Blink 182 shirt. She's wearing Spice Girls.
Yes.
And we're just like that cool.
And this is our band era episode.
I feel like, though, every time you wear a band tee, do you get like at least one annoying person that's like, oh, what's your favorite song of theirs?
No, but clearly you have.
Yes, I have.
Today's episode is sponsored by Quince. Shifting my wardrobe from summer to fall is always a challenge. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high quality items that I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. Like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. And the best part is all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/advice for free shipping on your order and a 365-day return. That's QUINCE.com/advice to get free shipping and a 365-day return. Quince.com/advice. Today's episode is brought to you by Ritual. Ritual actually suggests taking stress relief in the morning when cortisol is typically at its peak to support the body's natural cortisol response with an instant and extended release formulation for all-day support. That's over an 8-hour release. Listen, the juggle is real. Don't just respond to stress. Get ahead of it with stress relief from Ritual. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/advice, ADVICE. Start Ritual or add stress relief to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/advice for 25% off. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Also, if you have any stories that you would like us to read on our podcast, this is your moment to shine. Send your emails at, what's the email called, Taryn?
Advice unsolicitedpod@gmail.com. It can be funny. It can be sad. It can be deep. It can be light. It can be your story. It can be a friend's. It can be short. It can be long. All shapes and sizes are welcome. So send it in today.
Okay, what was that one? You know that one shirt from Urban Outfitters that we've all, literally everyone's had? And I forget what's on it, but it's a band that I maybe knew like one
Nirvana?
of their songs. No. Yes. But I always get like some guy who's just determined to like show how much he knows more than me.
For sure, yeah.
And I just like, I get so annoyed with that question because one, those questions on the spot, I'll never have an even if I have an answer, I'll never have an answer because I get freaked out.
Yeah.
And then two, like, what does that prove?
It doesn't matter. We're not here to make your ego inflate,
Yeah.
sir. This is about like me, and I chose a shirt.
I do
And
feel
it's what I wanna
confident
wear.
in this shirt that I could sing some songs and yours too.
What I want to say is, as a millennial, nothing feels better than putting on a band tee. Like nothing feels more like I am home than putting on a band tee.
Yeah.
And I
It's
don't
like our
think,
childhood.
yeah, I don't know that Gen Z gets that. Like
No.
it's just like the most natural thing is to throw this on. Like the second I put it on, I was like,
I'm home.
I can breathe.
I'm
I feel
home.
great. Speaking of bands, did you or have you seen / have you even noticed there is a new documentary, I think it's on Netflix, called the Boy Band Conspiracy or the Boy Band. Yeah. Anyways, it's about Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. It's so good.
Is it?
I'm only halfway through. It's so good.
What's the conspiracy?
It's basically just talking about, you know, how it's not the same in any way, but you know how the Nickelodeon doc was like, oh, there was one guy behind it and the kids were actually worked to the bone and all of this stuff. There was obviously so much more that happened that was tragic, but same thing with the boy bands. So it was like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were all created by this one guy who was just this like money hungry guy who also was in aerospace and literally went into the music industry simply to make money off these kids. And all of these kids were like super young. Their parents didn't know any better. So they were like getting flown off, didn't see their families for like a year, only for like the holidays
Probably
sometimes.
made like a crazy small percentage compared to like
zero
what they
money.
would. Yeah.
They were like busting their and this guy was making all the money. And it was just like, it was crazy. But it was
Crazy.
also so crazy because that was right before me. But I like remembered like their halfway point. It was fun watching it and being like, I don't remember this. I don't remember that. I don't know any of this. They're too young. And then all of a sudden it was like,
Yeah.
bye. And I was like, okay.
Did they interview
remember that.
some of
Yes.
the guys?
Yes.
Is JT in it?
Definitely not.
Okay. I was like, if they
course.
got JT, then.
Yeah, definitely not. But like there was tons of video footage of him that he clearly approved to be on the, well, I'm assuming he did. To be
Not
on
if
the
they had all the
documentary.
rights to like
True.
everything. Yeah, that's so
But
interesting.
yeah, there were some key people giving
Tea.
their side, and it was just fascinating.
Yeah.
The dark side of boy bands.
It is crazy. Like I don't know if I've actually ever talked about this on the podcast. I'm assuming I have, but I actually signed with someone for music like back in the day. And I just like I feel like it just wasn't like the best fit because I think like they had a vision of what they wanted me to be and I wasn't I don't want to say strong enough, but I don't think I was solid enough in who I was to like know how to be like, no, like this is what's natural or whatever. So it was a lot of like, try this style of music. Like they're actually the ones that told me to dye my hair red and I was really upset about it at first, which is funny because I say like that was like the most valuable thing I walked away with because I
was gonna say,
loved my red hair after
Cut
that.
to that becoming your entire personality for
Literally.
10 years.
But it was a lot of just like that, seeing kind of like the underground side of certain things. And I was literally, it was like a hot minute. And then I was like, this isn't good for like my mental health. Was just really interesting. And I think a lot of it is like I think people make money off of other people's passions because when your passion is involved, you would do anything to do it. You know what I mean? And so you have all these people that are willing to just, oh my gosh, someone wants to sign me. Like you get so wrapped in that and like thinking, okay, this is how all my dreams are going to come true. And then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know? And luckily, I mean, the people I signed with were good people. It just wasn't a good fit.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a lot of crazy stuff that you hear happens and it's so sad.
It's sad, especially back then. There were so many infrastructures that are in place today that simply were not there to protect specifically kids.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we saw that with the Nickelodeon doc. Like, this is the exact same situation timing wise, where like this like big wealthy white man just like comes in and is in control and no one questions him.
Yeah.
And it was the wildest thing. But highly recommend watching.
Okay.
I'm going to finish it hopefully tonight if I get my work done.
I haven't even like seen that.
Yeah, it was great. And it's just fun. It was fun being a millennial and being able to like look back and be like, oh, I loved both of those bands so much.
Yeah.
So, like this isn't a spoiler in any way, but like one of the craziest things was I was like, They tried to get Backstreet Boys to take off in the States. It never did. It blew up in Germany. So they went to Germany for 2 years and like blew up. I had
did
no
not
idea
know that.
because that was before
Yeah.
me. So not before me, but I was too young.
Boy band era. We had NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees. For you Christians, we had
Plus one.
God,
I loved
that
Plus
was my
One.
first concert, and I was just like so young, but I was like, why do I just these boys make me
Jason,
go?
I had the biggest crush
feral?
on Jason, and then
Yeah.
I found him, I think during COVID or something, and I was like, oh man.
Didn't age well.
No.
It's unfortunate.
Sad. It was a bummer.
But then we had like Dashboard. Like I feel like bands, there's something different about bands. Like I think it creates a very beautiful artistic place in your heart.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for this generation where it's all these like one-offs. Like, yeah, they're cool and it's amazing music being put off.
Correct.
But it's not the same as like going to shows like when
Yes.
you're younger and like
watching them perform and interact with each other
live
and
music,
create this like
yeah.
live music. It's not just tracks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a relationship with the drummer, the guitar player, like you know everyone in the
Yeah.
band. Yeah.
Really cool.
Anyways, that's why we're better than all of you. Not just kidding.
End of discussion. If
you
we
ever
lose our
wondered
entire
why I'm
Gen
so
Z
cool,
audience.
It's because I grew up going to shows. I actually sang on a couple of my friends' bands' like their albums, and one of them, it was this hardcore band. It was our local hardcore band.
Are you
called
hardcore, Taryn?
Team Valcor, and I sang this part in this straight up like blah, blah, like hardcore song. I sang this like part where I'm just like singing. And I did a couple shows with them, which I was terrified because one of the shows, the stage straight up broke while we were like
Yikes.
on it because everyone was like going crazy. And then everyone's just like in the mosh pit and it's just very intimidating, like going up and singing. And it was funny because like some of the shows, like every time I would start singing my part, people would hold their hands up like a butterfly.
Cute.
And I would
That's
just
fun.
like sing and then I would go like die in a corner. But yeah. And then the other band, I was in love with the singer, so I'm not going to shout that one out. You know.
Yes.
You know.
Sure do. Anyways, quick little update. How you been, Taryn?
Good. So I saw a TikTok to set your dating app to Paris because then you can match with all the hot athletes that are out there.
Correct. Yes.
So
How's that going?
honestly, I got very overwhelmed. Apparently, nobody wants me here, but everyone wants me in Paris because let me tell you,
Should we just pick up and go to Paris?
Yeah.
UA in Paris?
yeah, the way that my phone was like glitching out how many men were like liking and connecting with me and sending me all the like, you know, like the
gotta
things
get
you
out of
pay
LA.
for. And they were so beautiful. And I was just like, I can't handle this. Like I was very overwhelmed. But I did match with an
Athlete?
maybe. And maybe I shouldn't say.
There's
No,
so
this is-
many.
no.
There's so
No.
many people there.
No.
There's so many different
No.
genres of athletes that we are
No.
talking about here.
Michaela, I want the country blacked out and my mouth blurred. No, because we're actually like, we started like talking a little
Oh,
bit.
fun.
But he was just like, okay, well, are you in Paris? And I was like, well, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. No,
I
I'm just
literally
imagining
told
if that
him.
were me, and he's like,
No, he was like,
someone's
okay.
like, oh, I matched with someone. I'm so excited. And I'm like, so where in LA are you? And he's like, oh, I'm actually in Paris.
No.
I'd be like, you fool.
He
Block.
literally he's like, so you're in Paris right now? And I was like, no. He's like, wait, where are you? And then I just straight up told him. I was like, I saw a TikTok.
I mean, you
and
have
I did
to.
it. Yeah.
You literally have to, because
But no,
otherwise
he's-
it looks sus.
He's nothing. Obviously, nothing's gonna happen. But you know,
don't
I'm
know
just
that.
I'm adding to my list of crushes I have around the world. I don't know
know
why that's been a thing,
He could totally come here.
but I'm obviously not meant to be here. But I'll never leave here, so that's why I will die alone. Think
I
about
guess
it.
we gotta go to
the
Paris.
Wales, the rugby player.
true.
We have New Zealand, who always
R.I.P.
will have
New
my
Zealand.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere. I have all these men that I would like are my soulmates around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But here I get freaking
Karen
Trevor,
Fever.
who is asking me weird questions Like I just can't. I'm not meant for here.
No,
I'm too
clearly not.
sophisticated.
Clearly not. Our class is through the roof, so we got to go find those
Don't,
people.
stop saying we.
Well, if you're going to Paris, I'm coming with you.
Okay. Bye, Jackson.
If that's not clear enough, we're going. Any excuse to take the podcast overseas.
Literally.
Sounds fun.
Literally.
So,
yeah, but it's a fun flirt.
and maybe more. Don't diminish it.
No.
No, ma'am. No.
No. It's a fun flirt.
Okay.
But these days it gives me a little life, little boost.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Wow. Well, I had the most amazing meal of my life
Wow.
yesterday.
That's a big statement.
I know. And it's even better because it was Italian food.
Nice.
And I haven't had Italian in a hot minute. I'm like, to be frank, I think I avoid it because of how drastically it bloats my body. Like it hurts.
She's unwell.
It hurts me. But I love it so much. And I literally want to gatekeep this place because it was so good, but I would never do that to my UA fam. It's Donna's in Los Angeles. This is in Echo Park. It's this tiny little restaurant. You have to book it like 30 days in advance. It's like popping off right now. I had the most amazing mezcal cocktail of my life. It was just delightful. It was like grapefruit, mezcal, divine. Best garlic bread I've ever had. Ever.
That Ash,
Let
you're
that
making
sink
some
in.
very big
Let that sink
statements.
in.
Wow.
Yes, I love garlic bread. Divine. We had what's it called? Bruschetta.
love a bruschetta.
With peaches and plums instead of tomatoes.
Interesting.
Unreal. Ricotta cheese, peaches, plums. Divine. And then a spicy vodka pasta.
Love that.
We had like a breaded veal with like lemon. Divine.
Not about that, but love that for you.
Is so good.
Wow.
So yeah, Donna's.
Okay, good to know.
That's
We'll
for
go there
your
next
your
time.
ears only. So like,
Don't share
don't
it.
go spreading
Gatekeep.
this. Don't go spreading this.
Gatekeep
This is
the
a
restaurant.
safe place. Don't tell anyone. If I go soon and there's a giant line, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
At you guys.
Today's episode is sponsored by Quince. Shifting my wardrobe from summer to fall is always a challenge. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high quality items that I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. Like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. And the best part is all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us, which as a budgeting queen right now, I'm in my budgeting era, I very much appreciate that. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which Taryn and I love. My go-to that I've worn religiously is their black silk skirt. It's one of those ones that comes up pretty high and goes to like your mid-calf. It's literally perfection for like a dressy summer outfit because it looks so put together, but it's also like thin and breathable. And again, I've mentioned this earlier, it's washable. So even if you spill pasta on it, you're fine. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/advice for free shipping on your order and a 365-day return. That's QUINCE.com/advice to get free shipping and a 365-day return. Quince.com/advice.
Well, anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into, the things that we do. I have a plot twist for you guys.
Oh.
I have
For the
an
tearing it up?
update instead of a tearing it up.
Oh, okay. Feed it.
Yes. So do you remember when Emma and Chloe were on our podcast and I read that story about the girl with the best friend who met a guy in their apartment complex and they got married really quickly and then they got pregnant and then there was all these red flags popping up?
Okay, wait. Why don't I remember?
It was my story with Emma and Chloe.
What were
With
the red
Unhinged.
flags specifically? Because
I can like read the like synopsis. The title was My Best Friend Just Got Married and I don't think we can be friends anymore. Husband and her moved.
That's why. Okay. That's why I'm confused, because it wasn't her. It was her friend got married
Her
and all
friend
these red flags, and she was concerned.
started dating really
Okay,
quickly,
okay.
moved in really quickly, got
Yes.
married, are now pregnant.
Do you see why I was confused? Because I thought you were talking about like someone wrote in that they got married and had a baby and were having problems, but it's the friend that's
Yes.
watching it.
Her
Now
and her
I'm-
husband and her baby are
totally
good.
caught up.
She was watching her
Caught
friend
up.
go through a really
Yes.
fast
We're not a fan. They didn't feel safe with
Yes.
that guy even being around their kids.
Her and her husband
Yes.
decided to back off.
Okay.
We have an update. I know.
This is fresh.
This is fresh.
That's fresh.
So let's just dive into it. Hey, gals. I just watched the episode.
Love that. Hi. If you're on
That means
YouTube,
you're a
I'm
YouTube
waving
girly.
to you.
Hello. If you guys don't follow us on YouTube, guess what you should be doing? You should follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just watched the episode where you read my story, and I wanted to send an update. First off, thank y'all so much for the advice. Terrence, I'm so sorry if I spelled that wrong. You're missing
Did
an
she?
E.
Everyone misses the E.
It's normal.
Even the other day, a family member sent me a birthday card missing the E.
Yeah.
A family member. So.
Also, on a side note, speaking of Zoe Church, there's a singer there named Taryn who's a guy, and he told me that it was originally a boy's name.
That's fine. Okay. So I
Which
have
I
heard
didn't know that.
I have heard that.
I didn't know that, but I was like,
Which makes
fun.
a lot of sense.
That's like my best friend's name,
because
Taryn.
I definitely give off male energy.
So that tracks.
So that tracks.
She continues. Sorry if I spelled that wrong. About asking questions like, how does that make you feel when he says XYZ? You gave that advice.
Yes.
And your guest advised of just keeping tabs on what he's doing in their relationship was very helpful. I feel like overall you ladies provided me with clarity on that problem that I have been searching for. Now for the update. So now that they are experiencing their first child, as y'all said, the nail is pretty much in the coffin. However, she is becoming more and more isolated, and it's hard to tell if it's because she's not feeling well because of the pregnancy or because of the relationship. But to me, it seems like it's because of the relationship.
Yeah.
I think we all know that. More often than not, I will reach out to her and she won't reply for hours. And then when she does reply, it's always I'm so sorry, I never saw your text, which is causing a bit of frustration on my end. I want to be there for her and be supportive because I know how isolating new motherhood can be, but it's hard when she never seems to have time for anyone but her husband. Speaking of the husband, he has since quit his job. He has another job lined up, but won't be starting it for a while. They are both pretty stressed out right now about finances because having a baby isn't cheap. And he asked her, or convinced, I should say, to quit her job well before they even got married. So she's been unemployed for a while. There has been a lot of drama coming from his side of the family, and his sister is saying really mean and nasty things to my friend, criticizing her weight
Okay.
and their marriage. And his family is pretty open about not really liking her in general.
Okay.
Love that we can all just like chat about this. That would bull. I'm sorry. We'll pin in it. I'm really concerned for her because I just do not see this going well for her in the end. But I don't. Sorry.
I
But
don't. I don't.
Sometimes I just go too quick and I can't catch up.
Sometimes I just let it slide, but then there's ones that are just too good. I don't.
But I don't think at this point there is much I can do but simply be there for her when things go bad.
Oh, gosh.
That's the update. I'm glad that advice in the beginning worked for you, Anonymous. I can't imagine how frustrating that's got to be, like being sidelined and just watching all of this happen to one of your best friends. Like I can't imagine watching you go through that and feeling so helpless.
No.
Like you're married, you're having a kid, you're in the family. I can't get involved in like the family stuff, but I can be here for you. Like that would be really hard for me to just sit back, even as like a non-confrontational human being. Like that would be really hard for me to not voice my thoughts and opinions.
Well, and I think
make
that
things worse.
there's ways that you can, but I mean, what's good though is it sounds like she's still coming to you with stuff because
Yes.
obviously you're finding out like what the sister said, what the family said.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's still communicating stuff is good, and I think like without just drastically being like you need to leave him, like blah blah blah, you can still say certain things like, hey, you know that that's not normal, right? Or like, you know that that's not okay.
Yeah.
And like still making comments so that she in the back of her head is hearing like, okay, like these things are not okay. Because what happens when you're in those scenarios is you start to just like justify and like
or believing what they're
rationalize.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
It's so not fair.
someone criticizing a pregnant woman's weight is like the actual lowest thing that you can do.
Literally.
Like,
And I can't tell if she's had the baby or not, but like it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
No.
Anyone's weight, let alone a pregnant woman or postpartum woman. Like that is, she literally just brought life into the world or is about to bring life into the world. Can we not? I'm assuming she just had the kid. Because who would say something
well,
about
she said
that?
if she's not feeling good because of the pregnancy, so maybe she's still just like towards the end of it.
Then if
I
that's the
don't
case,
know.
are you kidding me?
Dude.
She's pregnant.
I'm done.
She's pregnant. I cannot. And how it's just so like stereotypical, like narcissist for this guy to like convince her to quit her job, which if she decided to do that, she has every right to. But also I'm like, that makes you very dependent on him.
And now he quit his job, so and is probably putting pressure on her. Like it's just this guy sounds like trash.
I'm so sorry that you're going through that. Best advice I can say is simply continue to be there for her. I know it's annoying to constantly receive that. Oh, I didn't see the text message when you know that they saw it. But try to not let that bother you.
Yeah, and try to get her
She's
out
probably
of that
just
environment.
she's probably having a hard time just dealing in general. So responding to I feel like when you're in situations, not like I know, but like when you're in stressful situations, sometimes simply responding just feels like the cherry on top of too much work.
That's me.
And like I feel like let's give her that because
Yeah.
she's having a hard time. But I do want to empathize. I know it's hard when you're trying to be helpful. So try your best to cut off that emotion and just continue to check in on her as you're doing. And I think you're being a good friend still, even though you can't do much.
Yeah, I would do like not open-ended invites too. Like I would be like, hey, what are you doing Wednesday night? I know you're down for the count, so let's order a movie and let's like you tell me what you've been craving or what sounds
keep it
good
cheap.
and we'll be in PJs with blankets and like my hubby's I kicked him out for the night, like it's just me and you. So try to do things that are like not a lot of pressure, but getting her out of her environment.
Safe, affordable, not getting her out of her comfort zone, not getting her out of her comfy clothes. If she's hearing comments like that, she's probably not wanting to like wear like real clothes. Like I would probably be like hiding everything.
I'm telling you right now, if someone says that, they better run.
I can't believe he's not
Because
saying
I'll
anything.
kill someone.
I can't believe he's not saying anything.
No, of
It
course
doesn't
he's
matter what
not.
kind of trash he is. Like
He obviously doesn't like care about her enough.
in my head, I'm like, any narcissistic person would be like, that's mine. You don't get to say that. I get to say that still.
Would he?
I would think.
Would he?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Couldn't tell ya.
I'm dead.
Yikes.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our first story, which I'm just realizing I did not.
In the meantime, you guys should subscribe to our premium subscription service.
Nice, Ash. Nice, Ash. Okay.
What's it called?
Your little giggle.
Why am I blanking on the name?
Supercast?
Supercast.
Wow.
Guys, definitely listen to our Supercast. We have bonus episodes all the time. Taryn just had a solo episode go out.
Yeah.
We do scary episodes.
Did you listen to it?
Can we? I did not.
Good.
Well, now guess what I'll be listening to?
No.
We're also super excited because, believe it or not, it's August.
Woof.
October
2
series
months?
is 2 months away.
I ain't ready.
And if you love October series, just subscribe. I'm telling you, just subscribe to Supercast now because not only are we going to be doing October series on the podcast, we will be doing bonus episodes for the entire month of October on Supercast. So you'll be getting
It's worth it.
double the super scary stories.
Okay, so yeah. Subscribe.
So
There's a
obviously,
link,
subscribe.
a clickable link in the description.
Yes, please. And thank you.
All right. My story is titled Help, My High School Crush is Everywhere.
Ooh.
Who is your high school crush?
I don't even remember his name.
Obviously,
I can see him.
He wasn't your high school crush because
I say this all the time, but I really feel like I had a really bad high school boy experience. There just weren't that many options available, and if they were cute, they were taken. So it was like it was
Had
tough. It was
tons.
tough out there having crushes.
Here's the thing about me. I have crushes on everyone.
We know. We're well aware over here. Okay.
Should I talk about Courtney? Should I talk about my failed?
She's on the side, just being like, "Should
This
we?"
is embarrassing because people could easily figure this out, but I also don't care. Okay,
But that's what we love about you.
this is my. Since we didn't have a tearing it up, I'll say my tearing it up
Yes,
before we get into my
yes.
story. Okay. So. I'm so shy.
No, you're not. Just like
We obviously started recording in a new podcast studio. We're obsessed.
what, like a month ago? Over a month ago.
Yeah, it feels like we've been here.
We should have had a
forever.
birthday or something.
We should have. And the wonderful owner was telling us about this other podcast that records here that has these like cutie, great guys. And so, of course, I like look.
Right.
And it was so funny because it was in a group chat between me, Courtney, and Ash. And I was like,
We had like literally just left the
we had
studio.
just left.
Yeah.
I already had cyber
I wasn't even on the freeway yet.
No, I didn't. Yeah, no.
On my way to the on ramp.
Taryn does not play. When someone says, "Hey, there's this guy that's cute," I'm like, "What's his social?"
And her immediate dibs.
Yeah. So Ashley, you ruined
so
my.
sorry.
Anyways, yes.
But we
So
all saw it coming.
I respond and I'm like, "Oh, so and so is cute."
Yeah.
Dibs. And then we literally start going through this list. Like, I'm like, "Wait, he's a Christian?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dibs." And then we're like saying all these things about him. I'm like, "Dibs." And then Ashley finally responds, "Is like, Taryn, no one's fighting you for him." And I'm like, "So dibs."
Like, Court's been married.
Yeah.
And I'm like in a 3-year relationship.
Yeah.
And she's keeps saying dibs.
Okay,
Like we're
I just
about
wanted
to
everyone to know.
attack.
So then, I think it was like the next day, I text Courtney and I was like, "Hey, so like, tell me like the real tea. Like, is this guy like a quality dude? Is it like worth sliding in?" And she was like, "Absolutely, he's like a great guy." So I'm
Yeah.
like, "All right, I got this." So I'm like sitting. One thing about me, I'm so good at sliding in.
I was literally about to say, Taryn comes up with the smoothest. It's honestly a gift.
It is
truly.
a gift. Like,
I could never.
I can't tell you how many celebrities I've slid into their DM and they respond because like in my DM is that like, what is she talking about, that they just like respond.
But that's the thing is like, it's whether they're interested or not, there's a demand. You have to respond because it's that good.
like a character from New Girl,
Yeah.
who ended up being like, "Oh, I'm in a relationship, whatever," but like it didn't even start. It's because I don't start by being like, "Oh my god, you're hot," like blah blah blah.
It's
like
not
you gotta
slimy.
intrigue their brain.
It's not
Yeah.
super provocative. There's no cleavage photo. Like
No.
it's literally a very interesting slide
Yes.
in to the point where you like have to respond, even if if you can't date, like the New Girl character being like, "Hey, like I'm taken, but like that was great."
But
like, that
also
was a good
say
job.
what's up next time you see me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways, okay. So I come up with this brilliant slide in.
Of course.
And I was like, okay, I literally sit in the same chair as this man.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to slide in saying I sent him his own post. It's funny when you know the end. Okay. Sent him his own post and said, "Excuse me, sir, you're in my seat." Then I went to go send him a picture of me in the chair. And I get this notification that you are only allowed to send one message until this person approves you. So I didn't get to like finish.
The cherry on top.
So literally, if this guy opens the DM, it says, "Excuse me, sir, you're in my chair." He's gonna be like, "What?" So embarrassing.
so good.
So
though.
embarrassing.
But like, it was the perfect line.
Such a good-
It's so good.
And also, like, he doesn't know that I'm interested. It could just be like, "Oh, we recorded at the same studio,"
Right.
like blah blah blah.
You started a conversation.
Yeah, so I
could have started
immediately text Courtney and I was like, "I am dying slowly," and I sent her the screenshots and she was like, "I'm crying," but
Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
he never opened it or responded. So
And that's
who knows
fine.
if he saw it? That's totally fine.
that's totally fine.
It's totally fine.
But that is why we love you so much, because
yeah,
someone, please, if you're in a similar situation, please, someone use that line. That is
it's
that's
funny.
a great line. Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I have crushes on everyone. So if someone doesn't have a crush back on me, it's not.
not personal.
If I'm not somebody's type, they're not my type.
Yeah.
They're not my type because I want someone who's obsessed with me
Yeah.
just as much as I'm obsessed with them. So
Yeah.
I don't take it personal, but I'll shoot the first shot.
Yeah.
I will make it abundantly clear that I'm interested in someone. And then if I don't get the right responses back, then I'm out.
Yeah.
But because I still want a man to be a man, like, and approach me and like pursue me. But yeah, so that slide in, I miscalculated a little bit.
A little more research would have been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, just to clarify, and for our listeners, for research purposes, if you aren't friends with someone, you only get one message.
I don't know if that's like a setting you put on or what, because I feel like people if I do open a DM, there's like multiple DMs from a person.
I guess we don't know. Maybe it's because your profile's public versus like a private.
His is public. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Interesting.
I'm assuming it's a setting that you put on your Instagram. I have no idea.
Interesting. I feel like I have a ton of
same
multiple messages.
Like the times that I have gone in, I never go into my message request, but every once in a while I'll just glance through because sometimes I'll see someone that I'm like, oh wait, I actually like know them. Or
I don't go in often, but I'll check frequently because brands will go.
Yeah, they get stuck in there.
Yeah.
So. And then if I do open one that like intrigues me, like there'll be like 30 messages from a person. So I think it has to be a setting.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. Was not aware of that.
Well, and now we know.
Yeah, unfortunate.
So for the next one, we have a little more. We'll know. It'll all be in one message.
Fit it in.
Yeah.
Fit it in one. Photo attached.
Yeah. And then adding those. Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunate. It was a cute photo too.
It was a great attempt, Terry.
It was.
3 stars.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Okay, what were we doing?
It's your story.
Yeah, it's my story. Okay. Ooh, someone DM'd me on Riot.
I cannot.
My non-existent love life is very eventful still, at least.
I mean, it's
of our entertaining for everyone
on our podcast.
Literally.
You should write off your dating.
I should, because I'm spending like, I don't even know how much.
I'm serious.
I should.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ritual. Let's just go ahead and say it. Day-to-day life can be difficult. There is so much stress to juggle in a day, whether it's work, finances, kids, errands, your dirty house, or D, all of the above. I've tried so many techniques in the past to manage my stressful schedule. I've done working out, I've done self-care, I've done me time, but to be honest, that just added one more thing in my to-do list to try to balance. And that is why we all need a little ritual in our lives. Start your morning with Ritual Stress Relief. This product uses first of its kind technology to support the body's natural cortisol response so you can take on the daily juggle, that daily grind. I've used Ritual in the past and I love them. I love their gut health pills. I also just love their women's daily vitamin. It makes getting your supplements in such a piece of cake. Also, personally, I just love that it's woman founded. But their Stress Relief Bioseries technology is designed to optimize the release of a trio of clinically studied ingredients to help the body manage stress. Shodan ashwagandha has been clinically studied to support normal cortisol levels and reduce stress. Sutheanine L-theanine is clinically studied to provide quick stress relief within the hour and a non-drowsy sense of calm, which I need that. And then Afron Saffron is clinically studied to promote a positive mood and reduce stress. Ritual actually suggests taking stress relief in the morning when cortisol is typically at its peak to support the body's natural cortisol response with an instant and extended release formulation for all-day support. That's over an 8-hour release. Listen, the juggle is real. Don't just respond to stress. Get ahead of it with stress relief from Ritual. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/advice, ADVICE. Start Ritual or add stress relief to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/advice for 25% off. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right. My high school crush is everywhere was the title. I don't know how we got into that.
Wow. That was a tangent.
Hi, ladies. I would like to stay anonymous. I'm writing in because my high school crush won't stop following me around. Backstory, I grew up in a small town where my graduating class was 200. Everyone knew everyone, and everyone had a crush on everyone at some point in their life. I should also mention that I was not attractive for the first 16 years of my life.
It's tough.
Not me looking at you.
It's the worst. It's
No,
the worst.
it's the best.
No, it's the worst.
I'm sure it was the worst during that time, but it's the best now.
Yeah, you know how earlier I was like, it was hard having a crush in high school because there weren't a lot of guy options. I don't think I was an option either. I think I was so uncomfortable and awkward and just not cute. So I don't blame
Yeah, but
the
you
guys
played
for
the
not approaching me.
drums. Like, girl, how could you not have gotten any guy by playing the drums?
It's easy.
Well,
when
you
you're
played the
not
drum
cute.
in band.
I was in drumline.
Still hot.
I get like played on the band also, but like still, it's not the same.
Still hot. Still hot.
It's not
okay.
a flex. We don't get letters.
Oh, do you not?
No, or at least my school didn't.
That's wild.
I know it was stupid. I think that's different now.
Okay. Yeah, because you should get a letter.
Yeah.
You still
I was
compete and stuff, right?
I was in honor choir. I was in drumline. I was in band.
I'm gonna make you a patch. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, of her life and was not sure of myself. But the summer going into senior year, I worked hard to get into shape and to work on myself to where my self-esteem was higher and I was more confident. Enter, let's call him Brian. I have known Brian since 7th grade. However, I never had any classes with him and our friend groups never really hung out. That was until I had one of the same classes with him my senior year. It was a harder class, and he and I would work together in small groups a lot. I would join their group because I was friends with one of the kids in his group. We got along fine. He could be a jerk sometimes, but I just assumed that was because he was an antisocial nerd who didn't have a lot of contact with girls most of his life. I slowly started developing feelings for Brian. However, they would come and go throughout the year. Then springtime came, and with that, senior prom. All my friends had dates for the prom, and I didn't. So I decided I was going to muster up the courage to ask Brian. Nothing hurts my insides more than these stories because I had such terrible experiences with dates, being just like the absolute worst. So before you even know where it's going, I'm already sad.
Yeah.
So I asked him, and he flat out said, I think we should go with people we actually want to.
Oh.
Like, just say no.
Yeah.
Why do you have to be like that?
Yeah.
Then he proceeds to ask out one of my best friends at the time. She said no, and I will forever be thankful for that. I then declared I never wanted to see him again, but I spoke too soon because the next thing I know, he is working at the summer job that I have had for over 2 years at this point. We see each other throughout the summer, and no matter what I do, I just can't shake the feeling of liking him. I went to college far away from him, and I am back again at the same job as before, and there he is. He barely says 2 words to me, and I can't help but want him to ask me questions and talk to me. Finally, I take a day off to go to the beach with some friends, and as soon as I get out of the car, guess who I see?
Of course.
Brian. I tried so hard not to look at him or pay attention, but when I caught him looking at and talking to another girl there, my mind instantly went, why? Needless to say, I need help with getting over a boy I never even had and who never liked me. I am 5'10" with an athletic build, picture below, and can be intimidating to some guys. So I have not even had a date with a guy yet. Anyway, I am so sorry if this is long, and if you don't read it on the pod, that's okay. I just like getting it out. Thanks, Anonymous. Then she goes on to say that reasons why she thinks she doesn't look good in this photo. And this is why I picked this story. I know you were like listening, right?
Yes.
But this is why. Okay, so first I'm reading this and I'm like, okay.
One thing.
This sucks. Your crush is around
Bummer.
getting over a guy. But there's an underlining tone that gets me freaking hyped up whenever I hear it from women especially.
Let's go.
And that is when you are wrapped up in this, I'm not good enough for everyone else. And I heard it in the way that you're writing about yourself, for sure. But then you proceed to, with 2 people that
In a safe place.
you know are safe and you know are going to instantly love you and connect with you because we're mushy on the inside. You proceed to like justify why this photo like you don't look the best. And I'm sure it's one photo you sent. So I'm sure you took time to find a photo. And it just makes me so sad and a little bit angry at you, Anonymous. And we're gonna break all of this down. But I just want you to know that this is why I picked this story, because I think that the reason that the universe brought you to this podcast and to us and into my inbox is because you need a harsh reminder of who the frick you are.
That you are worthy.
And we're gonna hype you up, and we're gonna hype up anyone who's listening to this that is like, oh my gosh, I don't feel the same about myself. And it's actually what my Supercast episode was about, is how to become obsessed with yourself in like the most healthy way.
Yes.
And so that's what we'll get into. But let's go ahead and talk about Brian for a minute.
Yeah,
What do you say, Ash? What's your advice on being around a guy who you cannot seem to like get over, but you know that there's like no future there, basically?
It's a very sucky position to be in, to have had feelings for someone to the point where you like are envisioning your future together and like what things could be. And then he never looks at you, doesn't give you the time of day, ends up with someone else. And you're just like sitting on the sidelines going, well, me then.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like the best possible thing to do is distance yourself. No one wants to watch that. I don't want to watch that. And it's hard sometimes. A lot of times there's things involved that make it difficult to distance yourself, like a job. Or mutual friends or family. Maybe it's a family thing. Like sometimes it gets really difficult. But in the end, sometimes you got to be a little selfish. And sometimes you that might result in you having to be a little rude and like not showing up for birthdays and not showing up to parties that he's at, or having to find another job. Like I would do everything in my power to put distance in between you and him, because if there's feelings there, they tend to pop up.
Yeah.
Period. And a lot of times getting in a relationship yourself helps with that. And other times that doesn't mean that those feelings still won't pop up to a degree. It won't be the same because you're in love with somebody else, but like you'll still get little flicks here and there. That's just normal. That doesn't mean that you're in love with him or that you messed up and you should be with him. That's just your body recognizing that you had feelings for him at one time.
Yeah.
So I would put as much distance between the two of you as humanly possible. And if you find yourself near him and those feelings popping up, or if you see him flirting with another girl, I would have like some go-to little statements to tell yourself about like why you deserve someone who can't stop looking at you instead of ignoring you, who like can only think about you and is not distracted by other girls. Like there's clearly he's not your person. And so I think when you feel those feelings flare up, it's good to remind yourself that if he's not your person, you don't want him.
Yeah. No, exactly. Literally what I had just said. Like if you start to see people like that and see that like someone not being interested in you is not an offense to you, just like there's plenty of men I'm sure that come across your day-to-day life that you're like, meh, like he's not, like he doesn't do anything for me. And that doesn't mean that's a terrible person. It's not like you're sitting there like, ew, he's disgusting. It's just, that's not what you're attracted to. And that's fine.
It's easier to do that with random guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely way harder to do it with someone that you have like a history with or a friendship with, or like you guys went to school together, you had class together, like you have a little bit more of a foundation rather than just like some random guy that you went on a date with. So that is harder, but possible and definitely doable.
Yeah. I also think there's something about like the high school. I have had this like theory forever that like we have our first innocent love, and that's usually the one that we just like cannot get over because we don't know anything else. Like we love with our whole heart. Like we don't have boundaries up yet. We don't have like...
You haven't been scarred yet.
Yeah.
You don't know that you need to put those up.
It sounds like you had like an infatuation with him, and that's like hard to get away from. If I were you, honestly, like he probably gets weird vibes from you too, because you probably shut down a little bit like when he's around. And so he's probably just like, okay, like I went to high school with this girl, but like she acts weird when I like walk around. So he might be just kind of avoiding because of that, or he might be a jerk. I don't know. I would try to start just looking at him as a friend and someone like you knew and whatever. And just if you take off that pressure of like, I want him to ask me questions, I want him to like know about me, and just see him as like a dude and just like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Like, oh my God, remember that guy in high school? Like, I just saw he like blah, blah, blah. Like, find, if you feel uncomfortable, you can like prepare conversation starters. But I would try to start just seeing him as a person and talking to him like he's just a person.
Yeah.
And I think for me, when I started living my life in a way that is like, no matter what outcome, what would be the healthiest for me now? And that's how I got over my ex, right? Like I was like, okay, if I end up with him or if I end up alone, I am a hot mess after this breakup. So I'm going to pour every ounce of everything into becoming like my healthiest, healed, best version of myself. And if I end up with him, I'll be better off because of that, because I'm working on these issues that like I think got in the way of us connecting in the best way. If I'm not met with him, then I'm healthy and healed and ready to go paint the town red and find like my next man, you know?
Yeah.
So I think if you start to live your life not focusing on a specific outcome, but just what is the best next step for me in my life, I think it starts to free up some of that space.
Yeah.
And then, girl, you need to fall in love with yourself before you can fall in love with anyone. And I believe
100%.
that with every ounce of being within me.
Yeah.
Like, it is so life-changing when you not only, I literally just said this in Supercast episode, but when you not only tolerate yourself, but you become your own biggest fan. The stuff you start to accept becomes way higher caliber.
Yeah.
The way you present yourself becomes so different, and your life becomes so much more enjoyable because you enjoy time with yourself. You're not dreading being alone.
No, it's crazy. People are actually like really dumb and like sheep. And if you present yourself in a like downcast, poor me, can't make eye contact, insecure, like arms holding your stomach, then they're going to treat you like a downcast, insecure person. It's wild. If you walk into the room, arms down, making eye contact, shoulders back, you say you're 5'10", show your height. Like, don't hunch. My sister would always do that. She was like always taller than all her friends, and I'd see her like hunching over, trying to make herself smaller.
No,
and I
you
understand.
freaking stomp like a goddess into a room.
And to this day, I tell her this all the time. I'm like, do you see models my height? Like, it's very rare. Like, I wish I was taller. Supermodels are taller. I wish I could walk into a room and demand attention. I'm too short. It just, I'd have to do a lot
Yeah.
to receive that kind of like attention that like a tall person with like confidence gets by simply walking into a room. Own it. And I think obviously you're at that age where you're probably trying to like discover yourself also. But I really resonate with the like stoic face thing. I also had a friend in high school tell me that she was the first person ever, it was Yuka, to tell me like, oh, are you aware that you look mad all the time? I had no
She's
idea.
like the sweetest little person. So I could see her being like genuinely like.
She didn't tell me until college because that's when our friendship like really bloomed. But like we had history together, and I sat behind her. She was scared to ask me.
I'm done, Ash, just bullying people with your daggers.
She told me afterwards, and I was just like, sorry, what? And she was like, yeah, you were really quiet, and like your face wasn't nice. And I was just like, no one told me that, and I wish I would have known to like fix that. So little things I will say by myself. I grew up in a very small private Christian school where everyone knew everyone. I didn't have to work that hard to make friends. Like there weren't that many options. So I had everyone I knew was my friend. So that was my first time going into a big pool of people that I didn't know. And I think I was an awkward little, you know how everyone jokes about like homeschoolers being awkward? I think that was me. Like I didn't know how to interact with new people. I didn't know how to interact and have like conversations.
You were giving that homeschool
I was
energy.
giving that energy.
Yeah.
And I think it took a long time for me to learn how to be social and how to be like outgoing and how to be nice and how to smile and like how to hold myself a certain way. And now if I want to, I know how to like put on that like confident look. I'm not saying I always feel that confident, but I know how to put it on and like hold myself a certain way. Because if you, again, back to the sheep thing, if you walk into a room holding yourself super high and making eye contact with people, people will treat you the way you're demanding to be treated. And it's a very, it sounds scary. It's a very subtle way of demanding respect when you have your shoulders back, your head held high, and you're looking people in the eye.
Yeah.
You don't have to say like, you respect me. There's no communication involved. It's all body language.
It's how you carry yourself.
And
yeah.
it truly is that whole like fake it till you make it thing. You don't always feel it. Sometimes you do, and those are great days, but like you don't always feel it. So a lot of times you just have to like mentally dress yourself in confidence, and it's crazy the way people will treat you. And I suggest you practice this with a barista at Starbucks. Like go in being your like downcast self one day, and then go in the next day. Hi, nice to meet you. Hope you're having a good day. Look him in the eye, like ask for your order. I bet you'll have a small conversation. Because he's like, oh, you're demanding a conversation from him. It's crazy the way people react.
Yeah. And it honestly, like the thing is like all of this snowballs from like inner work. And
Totally.
Again, in Supercast, you guys should totally listen. It was a great episode.
Like our sixth.
I know. But I'm like,
Time
everyone who
mentioning.
listened, I don't want them to be like, oh, she's just saying the same thing. But I think it starts with your self-talk and your ability of how you talk to yourself. How do you communicate with yourself within your own mind? Like, are you constantly tearing yourself apart? Are you building yourself up? I use an example, like, obviously, like with all my health stuff, like my body's gone through crazy changes in the past few years. And the other day I was like trying on this pair of pants because I don't even know what size I am right now. I'm like shifting and whatever. And so I tried on this pair of pants, and it was like, it was a task to like get the zipper up and like whatever. And I let my breath out, and the way like my stomach fell over my jeans, when I tell you, I was crying laughing. It was the funniest thing. And then I was just like, I felt like very like the Grinch, you know, where he's like, ooh, like I was like in the mirror, and I'm like cracking up. And then I had this like beautiful moment where I feel like God was like reminding me of the way I used to react in situations like that.
Yes.
And I used to see something like that, I would start crying, and I would just leave and be like, I'm done. And I just order stuff online because I was like so embarrassed and like whatever.
Dressing
but it was
rooms
like,
are triggering.
Yeah, but it was like in that moment, it was funny. And I had this interaction with myself because I've become my own best friend.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I didn't take your role, Ash.
I mean, I was about to fight
You're
until you
so-
said you
fight
it was
me.
you.
Yeah. But I've changed roles of how I interact with myself. And it was funny. It looked funny. It was funny. The pair of pants was not made for my body. Like that doesn't mean my body is disgusting. It means my body needs something else. Like, so it wasn't anything. Like I took them off and I went on and I had this like really cool, fun interaction with myself in the dressing room. And I think all of that has come from years of really prioritizing how I talk to myself. And it started with me forcing myself to look in a mirror and crying, looking at my body because I was struggling so much with how much my body had changed. And and it's like, yes, I've lost a lot of weight. And that doesn't mean like, oh, now all of a sudden it got better because of that. Like these are all remnants of all of that work that I put in. And I think that when you start to shift the way that you talk to yourself, the way you think about yourself, you start to carry yourself in a way where you begin to enjoy life and you're not so focused on everything going on in your own mind and your own insecurities. Like for me, I've drawn the boundary. I still have insecurities. I will until the day I die. When I'm getting dressed, that's when I can dress according to my insecurities if I need to, right? If I'm not feeling great about like my arms, then okay, maybe I pick a t-shirt instead of like a tank top. But the second I leave, that's it. And I cut myself off. And if I'm running around, I'm doing something, I'm playing with my niece and nephew, I'm out with friends, I'm flirting with a guy, whatever it is, like I'm not in my mind about that anymore because I checked it. Like I'm living my life unapologetically. And I think that is not something everyone's looking for the quick fix. There's not a quick fix. It took me therapy. It took me years of practicing high five habit, like Mel Robbins, like reading books, like talking to friends, whatever, to improve my ability to self-talk. And it changed my entire life. Like, and now, like, I think I deserve anyone I set my eyes on, I think I deserve, because I have done the work. I'm genuinely so confident in who I am as a person and what I have to offer somebody else that I don't care who you are or what you do. Like, I'm confident in what I have to give. And for you, Anonymous, I think, who cares about the crush at this point? Like, when I'm reading your email, everything about him just faded to the background because,
fuck Brian.
Yeah. Amen to that, Ash. Amen. Because all I care about is you entering this new chapter of your life, figuring out who you are, falling in love with who you are, and then realizing that anyone who enters your life, you are the blessing to them. It's not the other way around. And I think that if you focus on that, everything else is going to shift.
100%. And I think the magic with that, like, self-talk is over time, if you do it often enough and consistently enough, like, your body, you'll believe it. You'll start to believe it. There is a shift where it's like you're telling yourself, you're talking to yourself, you're constantly like, okay, Ashley, like, you've got this, blah, 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 blah. And then one day, I've got this.
Yep.
I believe it. Like, I'm it's no longer self-talk. I'm not hyping myself up anymore. I'm reminding myself, like, oh yeah, I'm like, I got this.
Dude, and sometimes I go overboard. I think I look so hot, and then I see a photo of myself, and I'm like, oh, dang. Like, you were not killing that outfit the way you thought. Yeah. But then I just, like, laugh, and then I move on because I'm like, I don't really care, because at that event, at that party, at that whatever, I had the time of my life dropping into the ground. Like, did I look a little questionable? Yes. But, like, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't.
Did the outfit slay?
It doesn't sting.
No.
It doesn't.
Did my personality slay? Yes.
It's all in your mind.
End, that's kind of what matters.
Yep.
You know, we love a good fit, but, like, it's how you present yourself. And 90% of the time, if you're crushing how you're presenting yourself, people don't notice your outfit anyways.
No, and you get so stuck on the outside that you don't give people a chance to see the inside, which is honestly the part that should matter. Like, outside stuff is, like, it's stupid. Like, looks fade, money fades, like, cool, you have a cool outfit, but if you're not a good person, then, like, what are you really putting into the world?
Exactly.
So you're letting your outside circumstances keep, like, Brian doesn't even know who you are. You don't even know who you are yet. So what is there for someone to get to know and to get to see? And I think, like I said, I think this needs to be your focus. I think this should be everyone's focus. Like, and it's not something, I do feel like I've mastered it to an extent, but it's an ever-changing subject. Like, every day I'm like, ooh, that really affected me. Like, I'm going to dig in and see, like, why that affected me. Like, I'm constantly working on how I view and interact with myself. And some days, like, are not good and some days are great. But I think if you actually take the time to, like, do it like it's your part-time job and put the work in, I think the snowball that happens in your life is crazy.
Oh, it's going to be wild. And I still believe and firmly hold to my Brian phrase. But also, it's like, how can you can't blame someone for not speaking to you. Like, I can't blame the guys in high school for not speaking to me if I had that face on.
Yeah.
You know, like, sometimes you got to look at yourself and be like, all right, we got to tweak some things. Not take it too personally, because clearly my face said, don't talk to me.
Literally.
You know? So, like, sometimes you got to look at yourself and be like, all right, let's do my part first.
Yeah.
And then head back out there with my making eye contact and head held up high, you know?
Absolutely.
So make sure you're doing your part. Hold yourself up high. Hold your head high. Make eye contact. Put a smile on.
Yeah, put a smile on. Least you could do.
And then move forward with that even if it's fake confidence.
Yeah. And I don't even want to say this because I don't think that should be the focus, but you are such a beautiful person, Anonymous. Like, that photo, you're making all these excuses. Like, I looked at you and I was like, she's gorgeous.
I didn't
like,
see the photo.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. But it shouldn't even have to do with that. Like, you need to just march in. Like, beauty is so subjective. Like, I can be the hottest person in the world. Should be to everybody. But I can be the hottest person in the world to someone, and someone who, like, does not do anything to someone else. And friends too. Like, there's guys that my friends will be like, oh, isn't he gorgeous? And I'm like,
Yikes.
Yeah. But like, it's so subjective. So
It
you're
is.
focusing so much on an impossible standard. And that's
Yeah.
what, to reach maximum beauty, like,
Yeah.
it's
and she
impossible.
was like, I'm 5'10", athletic build. I'm over here drooling. Gorgeous.
She's stunning.
Literally gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
You actually remind me of someone I know. All this to say, Anonymous, you got some work to do, girl.
you do.
Remember who you are. Fall in love with yourself.
You're definitely not the only
you're
person
gonna
that
be
needed
like,
to hear this.
Brian who?
So thanks for writing in.
Yeah.
Everyone else listening is probably taking notes.
Yes.
I'm taking notes.
Yes.
So thank you for writing in.
We love you.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into my story. So I thought I would switch it up a little bit and do a tearing it up for a story.
Oh.
Yes, it's a little longer to be a tearing it up. But this is just more kind of like a funny story, kind of how we originally wanted the podcast to be back in the day.
Surprise.
This one is titled Scotch Taped Boobs Equals Finding Love.
Boots.
Boobs.
Scotch tape boobs.
Scotch taped boobs equals finding love.
That sounds painful.
Painful? Question mark.
That sounds like not two things that should go together, but okay.
Well, let's dive into it. Hey, girls. My name is Campbell, and honestly, you can say my name because why not? I wanted to tell y'all a quick little story about a first date I went on in October of 2023. First of all, I want to start by saying that I love you both so much, and you genuinely have made me become a better advice giver to my friends at the ripe age of 22. We're just like
Love that.
shedding all our wisdom to
Love
these
that.
little youngsters. Little youngsters. Who says that? I've been following you guys on socials for a long time and truly love your energy. So keep up the great work. Also, for context, I'm an Enneagram type 7 to the T.
Okay.
So let's set the stage. My senior year of college, I decided to become a teaching assistant for a freshman class and absolutely loved it. This class was half Zoom and half in-person lab. So for the first hour of class, I would sit and watch a Zoom and work on my own schoolwork. On the second day of school, I sat down at a table with another TA and plugged in my computer, looked up, and saw the hottest boy I ever did see. Now, normally, I'm a pretty forward girl, but coworker situations get weird. And also, I was very close with the kids I was teaching, so I didn't want any rumors to spread amongst the 150 18-year-olds. So I decided to keep it professional from August to October and didn't really have any intention of making a move or doing anything of the sort. So I just continued going on the occasional date here and there, or, occasional Saturday night hookup. October comes along. I'm still doing the occasional, staring. A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, and admiring my coworker. My roommate and I have developed a nickname for him of Hot TA.
Love that.
I love how it's a nickname, but like
Actually,
kind of blatantly obvious.
Like the pilot.
Yeah.
Like so obvious.
So, and obviously I stalked him on Instagram and basically know everything about him until out of nowhere, he asked me, "What are you working on?" And to be clear, to this point, we hadn't spoken really. I'm not shy. I just was genuinely intimidated by him and his good looks. We get into a conversation, of course, and it goes amazing because I'm a catch. But again, I'm not really expecting anything to come from this, nor do I super care because for me, it was just something that wasn't going to happen. We work together. A week later, I get a little DM from Mark, my hot coworker, and I'm like, okay. He asked me to go to dinner on Wednesday night at this fancy Italian place, and I'm like, let's go.
I'm dead.
The texting prior to the date was very friend vibe, so I got dressed up, but didn't prepare to didn't prepare for anything outside of dinner.
Yes. Okay.
To be clear.
Yes.
Also, my brother was coming into town that night, and I just knew nothing was going to happen. So I get ready for the date. I'm looking super cute, and he picks me up, opens the door, has a bouquet of flowers
Okay.
in the car waiting for me. We go to this nice place. We split a bottle of wine. We share 100% incredible conversation, and I'm like, this is absolutely incredible. Like, have my children.
Yes.
So there I was in the car, and he's driving me home and asks, "Do you want me to drop you off or do you want to hang out longer?" And I'm like, I need to hang out longer with you. So I agree. And we end up at his place watching my favorite movie, which is Eat, Pray, Love. which
love
I've
that
seen
movie.
a bajillion times, but who cares? We lay down on his bed and I mean immediately start cuddling. And I had wine, so cuddle. Cuddle game was on.
Wine leads to cuddling.
Wine leads to make out.
Other alcohol can lead to other, but like wine
equals
like a
at
cuddly
least a make out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually get 2 minutes into the movie before he grabs my face and we start making out. So there it is. We start making out, and I mean, I am into it. They split a whole bottle of wine, so I'm sure she's like, yes.
Also, her favorite movie. She's like quoting it in her head.
Yeah, honestly. She writes, and I'm somewhere where if I feel comfortable, I see no problem with exploring your physical connection on a first date. So clothes immediately come off. He starts kissing me, starts kissing my neck, and then right when he's about to, sorry. And then like right when he starts moving down from her neck, and there it is. I forgot that I had scotch taped my nipples down.
Okay. I have so many questions. Why scotch tape?
Like, ow.
Were you out of pasties?
Yeah, I'm assuming so, because why else would you do that?
Scotch tape?
Scotch tape. I feel like that definitely takes off a layer of skin. Yeah.
Also, like, it's not smooth.
True. I wonder.
Like, it gets all crinkly.
Or if there was like a little square.
How many pieces would you have to do?
Yeah. Or is it one piece or is there multiple pieces? It could have been like
don't
a whole.
see it doing that
like
much
a construction
for you.
site, or it could have been like one little.
Also, like, the second you sweat at all, it would come off.
True. So many
I have
questions.
so many questions.
So essentially, there I am lying naked in front of him with scotch tape on my boobs. And remind you, he's my coworker.
He's like, is that from your desk?
And here's how you know it's right, ladies. We immediately both start dying of laughter, pulling the scotch tape off so that we can continue our fabulous night. So moral of the story is scotch tape can point out a man from a boy in a matter of seconds, because as of today, we have been dating for almost 7 months.
Aww.
Hope you enjoy this story, girls. And of course, I attached a pic of both me and Hot TA below.
God.
Love you both.
Cute.
He's a hottie, so
Yeah.
congratulations. Good job. Also, it looks like there's another photo.
Stop. They're cute.
Aren't they adorable?
The chemistry is palpable.
I mean, I love that you guys both laughed, because I probably would have had like a little bit of a meltdown at first, unless he laughed first.
like that pause.
I'm like, what's this going to be? Is this embarrassing or is this funny? So
I think it's the scotch tape
it's
part
just
of
like,
it.
oh,
Is
not
that
boob
scotch
tape,
tape?
not a little pasty.
And he's probably wondering, like, do girls do this?
Is this a normal
Is this
thing?
like a normal thing?
I don't think I've done that. I could see myself being
Okay,
like, oh shoot, what do I do?
Ashley, you can't say you don't think you.
Well, I've
you've
definitely
either
never
done it
used scotch
or
tape.
not. Okay,
But I'm wondering, I'm like, have I used tape
I'm like,
before?
I think you would remember if you used scotch tape.
I'm imagining the sound. Hilarious.
I one time used for a wedding. My mom had like really old ones that like I found them under her sink.
Yeah.
And so it was like an emergency situation, so I had to use them.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to rip it off, it ripped literally so much skin off because it was like not good anymore. Like I had scabs. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I'm like scarred for life. I'm like so scared of that
The
stuff.
first time I ever used one was for like our winter formal or something. I think I was like a freshman or something like that. And I didn't get a good one. I didn't know. It was my first time. And it was so painful.
So painful.
I was like so upset. And it was one of those like, it was like a full like sticky bra.
Oh.
And it was like the adhesive, like
Interesting.
not today's adhesive.
Yeah.
Like, it was like next level construction.
It's like,
site
this is for
adhesive.
2 weeks.
I was like, oh my God. It was so painful.
R.I.P.
And I was like, I should have just left it on until it came off. 'cause
Forever.
It hurt so bad. It was so
Oof.
bad. We need to have
things
more.
you go through
We need to have
for
more like,
being a woman.
not prom stories, but like pasty Well, I don't want pasty malfunctions.
No, let's not get our inbox full of this.
Scotch tape stories.
I'm done with you.
Do you want to wrap us up with a dad joke, Terry?
Yeah. Now I like picking ones that I think you could get because I think it's funny. Okay. What do you give a sick lemon?
Aid. A Band-Aid. Aid. Lemonade.
There you go.
Give it
lemonade.
Yes.
Lemonade.
I was like, aid.
Lemonade.
Finish it,
Aid.
Ashley.
Yeah. I was like, hello?
Okay, guys, you made it to the dad joke, and you know the drill. If you did, we love you the mostest. If you want your story read on this podcast, you have to email us. And what's the email, Taryn?
Advice unsolicitedpod@gmail.com.
And if you're still here,
Ooh, Easter egg?
not an Easter egg, but I don't think it's too soon to start saying we need some scary stories.
Oh, yes.
We need some scary stories. I
Yes.
said it. Okay. I'll do better and do it earlier in the next episode, but like we need scary stories. And if you're still listening, then you're a real one. So if you have a scary story, you know someone with a scary story, write it in, put in the title October series 2024 and get excited because we're 2 weeks away.
Let's get it. Let's
the countdown
get it.
has started.
2 weeks. You said
2
2
months.
weeks and that freaked
2 months.
me out.
2 months away.
like,
The
I'm
countdown
not
has
ready.
started. We're very excited. Send
Yes.
in your scary stories. Subscribe to us on Supercast, and we'll talk to you soon.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.